Right now, as you watch this video, there is a cruise ship called MV Hondius floating in the Atlantic Ocean with the passengers locked in the cabins. Evacuation happening mid-voyage and 3 people already dead. The ship set sail from Argentina in April 2026, carrying 149 passengers from 23 countries. It was supposed to be a luxury voyage. Instead, it became the site of one of the most alarming infectious disease clusters the world has seen since COVID-19. The killer is not a new virus. It's not a pathogen from any lab. It is the Hantavirus virus, a strain of Hantavirus, and the only known strain of Hantavirus to spread from human to human. This changes the entire game. 3 dead, 8 confirmed or suspected cases. Patients currently hospitalized across South Africa, the Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, and St. Helena. 17 American passengers being sent to quarantine in Nebraska, and the WHO already convening emergency assessments. This is not a drill. This is happening right now. And to understand why this outbreak could be genuinely different from the one before this, you need to understand the virus behind this, where it comes from, why it keeps killing people, and how this latest outbreak could be a game changer. Hantavirus is not one virus. It's a family of over 50 known strains, almost all of them carried by rodents, rats, mice, shrews, etc. Animals that have lived alongside human settlements since the beginning of civilization. The rodents don't get sick. They just carry the virus and shed it constantly through urine, dropping saliva. When those become dry and become airborne dust, and a human breathes that dust in, the infection begins. There are 2 main disease forms. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, seen in the Americas, causes severe respiratory failure. Hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome, seen in Europe and Asia, attacks the kidneys and causes internal bleeding. Both can kill. Both start with symptoms almost indistinguishable from the flu. Fever, fatigue, muscle ache, before rapidly becoming life-threatening. Now, here is what makes this virus particularly alarming. Every other strain of Hantavirus spreads specifically from rodent to human. Full stop. You breathe contaminated dust, you get infected, you become sick, but you cannot catch it from another person. The Hantavirus is the only exception here. It is the only known strain of Hantavirus which spreads from people to people with close, intimate, and sustained contact. And it is that one fact that has experts around the world watching the MV Hondius very carefully. On 2nd May 2026, a cluster of passengers with severe respiratory illness aboard a cruise ship was reported to the World Health Organization. The index case, the first person to show symptoms, was a Dutch citizen who had gone on a 4-month road trip through Chile, Uruguay, and Argentina before boarding the ship on 1st April 2026. He returned to Argentina from Uruguay only 4 days before departure. Somewhere on that road trip, in a field, a cabin, a roadside stop, he was exposed to the Hantavirus. He didn't know it. No one did. He boarded the ship. He spent weeks in close contact with 148 other passengers from 23 countries. And then people started getting sick one by one. 3 of them are now dead. 8 suspected or confirmed cases. And the patients are scattered across 5 countries because that is what the cruise ship does. It spreads an outbreak. It doesn't stay in one place. It travels with the passengers when they embark on different ports. Carries itself into hospitals in Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Geneva, Cape Town. The WHO's assessment, the overall global risk is currently low. But here is what that assessment also contains. The words human to human transmission cannot be excluded. on a ship with 149 people sailing for weeks, a virus with 50% mortality rate. The Hantavirus is not new. It was first identified in 1995 in southern Chile and Argentina, the Patagonia region. It's been causing sporadic outbreaks ever since, mostly in rural communities, mostly unreported outside South America. So, why is it on a cruise ship in 2026? Three reasons. First, tourism. Patagonia has become one of the world's most sought after travel destinations. Trekking, camping, road trips through remote wilderness. Exactly the environments where rodent exposure is highest. The index case on the MV Hondius spent 4 months doing precisely this. Sleeping in rural locations, driving through areas where deer mice and long-tailed pygmy rice rats carry the virus. Second, incubation. Hantavirus has an incubation period of 1 to 8 weeks. This is a dangerously long window. A person infected in a remote valley in Patagonia can feel completely fine for weeks, board a flight, board a ship, attend dinner with strangers before any symptoms appear. Third, we simply don't screen for it at airports, at ports, at borders, because until this outbreak, hantavirus was considered a contained rural low-risk disease. The MV Hondius is showing us the cost of that assumption. The history we ignored. We've known about hantavirus for a long time now. During the Korean War in 1950s, thousands of UN soldiers developed a hemorrhagic fever with kidney failure. The reasons were unknown. Over 3,000 cases, hundreds of deaths. No one knew what was causing it. It took until 1976 for Korean scientist Ho Wang Lee to isolate the virus from the striped field mouse near the Hantan River, which is where the name hantavirus comes from. Since then, outbreaks have occurred on every inhabited continent. The 1993 Four Corners outbreak in the American Southwest killed young, healthy Navajo people within days of symptom onset and baffled the CDC until they identified a new strain, the Sin Nombre virus, carried by deer mice whose population had exploded after unusually heavy rainfall. That pattern, ecological eruption, boom in rodent population, human intervention, has repeated itself across decades. Floods in Europe, droughts in South America, deforestation in Asia. Every time the boundary between human settlements and rodent habitat shifts, hantavirus finds a new path. This is a question everybody is asking, alarmed. And the real answer is not in its current form. But the conditions for something worse are being created as we speak. The hantavirus spreads person to person, but inefficiently. Current evidence suggests it requires prolonged close contact. A cruise ship cabin shared for weeks is exactly that kind of environment. An airport, a shopping mall, probably not. But here's the thing. The viruses mutate. The influenza mutated. The COVID mutated. So the question the virologists are asking about the hantavirus is not whether it can spread from people to people. It can. They already know it. The question is whether it could become more efficient in doing so. There is no approved vaccine for any hantavirus strain, not a single one anywhere in the world available to the public. There are experimental candidates, some showing promise in trials, but none within reach of a mass vaccination program. And global rodent populations are growing. Urbanization is pushing humans deeper into previously wild territories. Climate change is disrupting the ecological checks that keep rodent numbers in balance. Every one of these factors increases the frequency of human-rodent contact. The MV Hondius outbreak is not the apocalypse, but it's a signal. A pathogen with non-pandemic characteristics, zoonotic origin, human-to-human spread. No vaccine has just demonstrated it can cross continents on a passenger ship without anyone noticing until people started dying. This is alarming. This is a sign of any pandemic.